104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports. Jeff Hornacek appears to be the new head coach of the New York Knicks. Marc Berman on the phone. Marc, what does this hire mean to you? It caught everybody off guard. Were you prepared for this at all?
You know, we're talking about the triangle, but we're also talking about a system offense. And Hornacek was able to explain to Phil what his philosophies were offensively, and Phil was able to accept it as, you know, able to believe in what Jeff was saying, that it doesn't have to be the full-blown triangle. And that's the shock that he...
To me, too. I mean, the talk was it's going to be Kurt Rambis because he knows the triangle. Kurt Rambis, he knows the triangle. Kurt Rambis, he knows the triangle.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it's not Kurt Rambis.
I thought that maybe Blatt had a shot because, you know, he's great friends with Mills, and this was sort of the transition. So I thought that could make sense. I thought he had a legit shot. But this was out of the blue. Hornacek obviously played a Mike D'Antoni-type system in Phoenix, a speedball attack, three-pointers and pick and rolls, and everything the triangle doesn't have. But it's a system offense, and the Knicks are telling us, you know, Phil, we're misinterpreting Phil. You know, it's about a system. He wants a system. He doesn't want an isolation offense where you just throw a guy the ball like Carmelo and let him get to work the way Mike Woodson coached the Knicks. That's exactly what he doesn't want. But it's still, I don't think I misinterpreted anything 5 weeks ago. When I asked, I was the one that asked Phil, are you going to do the triangle next year? And he said, that's why I was brought in to town to do. And things have changed over the last 5 weeks, and we've written today, he definitely felt some external pressure regarding a potential Rambis hire.
Marc Berman of the New York Post joining us. Follow him on Twitter at NYPost_Berman. Marc, with this hire, what does that tell you long-term about Phil Jackson and the New York Knicks?
Big mystery. Right now, I mean, if they do have the press conference and clearly state that, you know, the triangle is dead, I don't feel that Phil will be as engaged or as invested into the situation. He doesn't have to be here to babysit the triangle. I almost feel if they have great success, part of Phil will feel not as satisfied because people will say, oh, look what happened. They abandoned his triangle and now they're winning. So I almost feel he could have mixed emotions. So I honestly think now, and I didn't think this before, I thought he had a chance to stay another couple of years or maybe 4 years. I feel now that he's going to be gone after next season. There is an opt-out in his contract, and I don't think Dolan would be too upset. He was the one that hired Steve Mills, and Phil likes Steve Mills a lot, and I think he wants Steve to eventually run the show.
So now how much is, in the New York Post yesterday, headline, Phil is horny.
I don't do the headline. We expect him. That, there may be a few more of those down the road. But, I mean, it wasn't a shocker to me.
No.
But Jeff Hornacek has to get used to the new tabloid coverage. He's been a Midwestern guy, grew up in Chicago, but played mostly in Utah and Phoenix.
Marc, with what you know about Jeff Hornacek so far, the attention being paid to his daughter, is that going to be an issue for him?
Yeah, we were the first to really do a little story on our website with maybe 10 or so pictures of her.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I did tweet it out, and a lot of fans were upset that I would tweet it out. She's an upcoming broadcaster, and she has a very pretty face, and she went to USC, played volleyball, and I believe she works for Fox Sports in San Diego. But, it was just a funny little story that some fans took the wrong way.
Yeah, how did they take the wrong way? What were those tweets or texts like for you? What would they say?
When I tweeted it out, they're like, you shouldn't be tweeting out the story about his daughter. I didn't write it. It was our Page 6 writer. Wrote it, and I believe in the afternoon it was the top-rated story on our website, most hits.
We were talking about it because of the pictures.
Yeah, and it's all in good fun.
Yeah, she's stunning.
No, it was a good story. I'm glad we did it. I think our competition then put something on their website a little later in the day. But it was the most popular story on our website yesterday.
New York Post, Marc Berman joining us right now. Right here at 104.5 The Team. Marc, little more basketball talk. Jeff Hornacek, will that help, hurt, or do nothing as far as free agencies coming to New York?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, it helps, and it also maybe changes the philosophy. Phil was talking to us in March, saying that his triangle offense doesn't really need a traditional point guard. It's about a two-guard front. Combo guards are just as good. Now, Hornacek is coming from a Phoenix club that had 3 point guards. They're really big into point guards. His offense, he needs a great point guard. So, the Mike Conleys, Rajon Rondo, I think, zooms up the list. I think they're going to be more focused on getting a nice point guard to run the show and run the break. They need help in the backcourt anyway. They need a point guard and they need a shooting guard. They have Jerry Grant, but he might not be up to the task as a starter next season. They have Tony Roden, who they're trying to rehab, has a lot of explosiveness, but that knee injury was very severe. So they need help in free agency, and now probably lean more toward the point guard position as opposed to the shooting guard position. And then you wonder, Aaron Aflalo, the shooting guard, this season, he was opting out, or so we were certain he was opting out. He hated Rambis, who demoted him. Now you wonder, does he rethink it? I don't know yet. I'm still actually looking into that.
So is it safe to assume that he's bringing in Horny? Is he going to give him enough free hand that he can do what he wants? Is there going to be, in other words, is there going to be a lot of Phil Jackson oversight with this?
That's what we're being told right now. That's why we're so shocked. That the triangle is optional, and Jeff can do what he thinks is right, but I think they want to work together. I think what was so great about the interview is they shared so many of the same philosophies about ball sharing and systems and how they hate isolation basketball. But I think maybe they're going to work together really closely and come up with some new fangled playbook with Phil trying to maybe reinvent himself a little bit. But, these are some questions. We don't know specifics. I think maybe the press conference will be Monday, and we'll be able to hear what Phil and Jeff have cooking.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the rhombus offense.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's going to be amazing.
Excuse me?
The rhombus, not the rhombus. They're actually, instead of a triangle, they're going to go a whole new geometric shape. Marc Berman of the Post with us right here on 104.5 The Team. Marc, when you look at the Hornacek hire, one of the things I love about you when we talk about Knicks is you can hear your emotions, whether they're good or not. Is this a hire that makes you happy?
Yeah, it definitely does, because I think the triangle, it just wasn't working. And I think, listen, we know we won 11 titles, but players don't understand it. Phil's been out of the league enough years, so they don't defend it anymore. So and in the new NBA, the roster turnovers are greater. Derek Fisher said it's tougher because there's not enough practice time. So I think Hornacek showed a lot of potential in that first year. I think I voted him number one in the Coach of the Year voting his rookie season. He took Phoenix, who everyone thought would be awful, and I think he won 48 games. And then they had a lot of injuries and bad trades. The front office really did not do well by him, and I thought even his firing was a surprise. I spoke to his brother last night, and his brother said, he was a lame duck coach. There was not even any talk of a contract extension. The players knew it, and it was a very bad situation, and the injuries were just out of control. So I think he's got a lot of potential, and I spoke to someone close to Steve Kerr. Kerr loves him, and Kerr was actually looking to hire him as an assistant coach to replace Luke Walton.
The 11 titles that Phil Jackson have, an odd number. if he can turn the Knicks around this hire and actually get some free agents, and the Knicks win the NBA championship next year, I will. Yes, I know. I will donate one of my fingers that he can put on. We can sew onto Phil's hand so he can take that additional ring.
Yes, I wonder what the odds will be for them to win the title, but it really would, be an incredible story. Phil reinventing himself, going with Hornacek, and using a new offense to win another ring. It would really be amazing. I just don't see it happening.
Yes, I know it's a fairy tale.
I know, but it'd be a great story to write in the Post, huh?
It would be amazing. Listen, at this point, Knicks fans, honestly, they'd be thrilled if they're the 7th or 8th seed. And that's how bad things had become under Phil Jackson. And I think they have a shot. If they could get a couple of nice free agents in the backcourt, I think they have a shot. I think Hornacek really has a lot of potential, and I love their front court. I think Porzingis will thrive under Hornacek. He, I'm told, was definitely not thrilled with how Rambis was using him, especially early on.
I love it. Marc Berman from the New York Post. He is the man with all the Knicks knowledge. Follow him on Twitter at @NYPost_Berman. Marc, it's good to hear you with a little bit of hope in your voice, and I hope that stays there all the way through next season.
Oh, thanks a lot, guys. I'm happy the coaching search is over. 5 weeks.
Yes, finally.
Was a long time. I never expected it to go that long.
Well, thank you very much, Marc. Always appreciate your insight.
All right, thanks a lot. Take care, guys.